Welcome back to the workshop, everybody. So glad you could be with me here today. Walter here. Lately, I've been thinking, yes, I know, it's a dangerous thing to do, but I have been thinking, where do we go from here? So, I tried the microphone upgrade and found out later on it wasn't working at all. So I returned that. I found another one that is specifically rated to my camera, so I need to order that up. But I got to thinking, you know, I've done over 100 some odd videos on lots of different topics. Now see, right here, that is the difference between a sharp plane and one that is not so sharp. This is northern white ash, also known as hard ash, hard rock ash. But look at that. That is, and it just is a delight to use. You know, you see me planing the edge grain here a lot of times, making shavings. Every once in a while I take a board and I plane the face grain. This one was run through a power jointer and planer a while back. And you can, I don't know if you can hear it, I'll be quiet. But you see, you're not making full contact. And there's this tick, 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 tick. That's the plane cutting through the undulations left from the power planer. And that brings up a good point. People say, I don't need to learn how to use a hand plane. I have a power planer. Others say power planers are faster, they're more accurate. And some people say, I'll just take an orbital sander to it afterwards. Okay, all valid points. However, see that surface? I don't know how clear it's going to come through on the camera. But in those few seconds, talking and planing, I have eliminated I believe I've eliminated nearly all, there's a couple little ones here and there, but nearly all of those undulations. And no sanding, no dust to extract, and it gives you a surface that's equivalent to the grit of your sharpening. So I just used 1,000 grit. That's 1,000 grit sanding. How long would that have taken you? How many, $2, $3 discs of sandpaper would you have used? So, as far as it being faster, I will say this much. If money and space and you have the ability to move heavy equipment around easily, etc. If money's no object and you have plenty of space, I have the space, but I don't have the need for the big machines anymore. Yes, to dimension this board to some dimension, to get it prepared for bench work, a nice precision jointer and a precision thicknesser are great helpers. in the workshop. They will push through a lot of material, they'll make a lot of chips, they'll make a lot of noise, and they will make a lot of dust as the blades dull. No doubt about it. Machines are great at dimensioning, but they don't leave you a really pretty finish. I'll tell you a little story real quick. Excuse me. I was making a table for my son. It was 10 feet long and it was 4 foot wide. Well, that's where we started. We ended up at 42 inches, but that's neither here nor there. I searched all over. I wanted a book-matched pair of cherry planks, and I wanted them a certain thickness to suit the design. I found a supplier nearby who had something I could use, and it was already thicknessed. When I looked at it, the whole surface had little chip outs, little tear outs. And so I had to hand plane the whole thing anyway to try to get rid of that. And to this day, all of the tear outs are not gone. With some of them, what I had to do was fill them with thin CA glue and then hand scrape them and do it again. And then when I started doing the finishing, those tear outs all showed right through. And then I had to rework. It was a lot of work. I would have had less work if I could have gotten those slabs in the rough and used hand planes. So, back to the question at hand. Where do we go from here? A lot of the questions so far have been answered in all the videos I've done. Sharpening, cleaning, restoration, use. We've gone through a lot of different species of woods. Don't have too many special ones left. I've got bits and pieces of holly. I think I've got some mesquite. I know I've got a piece of, what is it, Spanish cedar here somewhere. I was saving in case anyone ever asks me to make a humidor. So it's up to you now. Wow, that's nice. I wish you could feel that. I really do. I wish you could feel that. And I hope that one day in your shop you will have the joy of working wood with hand tools, with sharp hand tools, and know why I like it so much. So getting back to the machine work versus hand work, I don't think it is so much machine work versus hand work anymore. I look at it more as, wow, that was a beauty. That was a beauty. I look at it more as, okay, my machines can help me with some of the labor that is just boring, totally boring to dimension stock. But when it comes to finishing and precisely fitting things, chisels, hand planes, even sometimes a handsaw will get you there faster, and will get you there cleaner, and will get you there more accurately. But the machines, that's sort of like having some big old apprentices in your shop helping you get the work done. And then your tools, your hand tools, and your skill saves you time and money when it comes to sanding and finishing and things like that. So I'm looking to you now to help. If you want to see the channel grow, I need a few things. I need you to take this video and share it. everywhere that will allow you to share it on social media. We need more views. We need more subscribers to really show that we're making a difference. So if you find anything in my videos helpful, give them the old thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't yet. And share. Share being one of the most important. Other ways to help the channel is with donations, because none of this is happening free of charge. Costs me time, costs me money. But I wanted to get the knowledge out, so that's important to me. If I see the channel really grow, then I know I'm making a difference. Oh yeah, by the way, let's say I was jointing this wood to make a joint to another board. Okay? We want to put two boards together. A lot of people talk about the proper way to join two pieces of wood. And they're not bad. They're pretty good. But there is something, you've heard the term sprung joint. A sprung joint or a spring joint or a clamping joint. When you're putting two boards together, and I think I did this once before. I don't know if my vise will hold this, we'll see. No, they're not going to hold them together. Okay, you put two boards together that are the same width. You clamp them together, and then what you do is you plane them as if they're one. Let me see, what do I have here? Eeny, miny, mo. I got a couple pieces of cherry here. I can show you. They're not real big. And this would be another reason why I would put two pieces together in a vise, is because they're both too narrow to do by themselves. So you put these in the vise together, and even if they don't close, you can always put a couple spring clamps on them, bring them tight together. And now you plane this. And usually when I'm planing edge grain, to make a joint, I don't set it ultra fine, because I'm not looking for that glass polished surface. I don't care now if this is square or not. I just want these two to go together, so you book match them like that. Okay? And then you look up at the light and you can see there's a gap between these two. That's too much, so we're going to do it again. Take a little off each end. 1, 2, 1, 2, and then all the way through. All the way through. You try it again. That one feels better. So now you got a good tight joint. And I don't think there's any light coming through there without pressing them together. So, there used to be something called a rub joint, where you just put the hide glue was used typically. All right. What you want to do is now back your blade off until it's not cutting. Then advance it in the middle of the board, just a little at a time, until you get a shaving. See that? Now, I took a little bit right out there, and then I come back to almost the end, and that's it. Now you have what's known as a sprung joint. There's a little tiny gap in the middle, but only enough so that when you put hand pressure on it, it closes. All right? If you put hand pressure on it and it closes, you're good to go. So technically now you can take that board and its mate, put it up in the workbench, and they will be flat to each other because they're a mated pair. And you put your glue on one surface, you put it on the other surface, you put the two together and you rub it back and forth while pressing a little in the middle, and then as it gets harder and harder to rub, you align it and you leave it alone to dry. That will suck itself down. If you don't want to do a rub joint, you can follow the same procedure. Rub it back and forth, and only put one clamp in the middle until everything is tight, and that'll be fine. So that was just a little bit of a topic on creating a spring joint or a sprung joint, rub joint, whatever you want to call it. So that's about it for today. But where we go with this channel from this point forward is up to you. Your comments, your questions will determine the topics that I cover. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments section on the bottom. Or you can go, see, a lot of people don't know this, but if you look up there, there's the top bar for Dusty Splinters and the picture of the hand plane. Then over in that corner, there's a donate to channel or support the channel button. You can click that and you can support it financially. But also you come down between that hand plane up there and this video, there's a line, and in there there's a word about. I think that's what it is. It says about. Click that, and that'll take you to a little bit of information about me, and somewhere in there there's the word send a message. So you can private message me if you don't want to leave something in the comment section. So that's how, if you want to communicate your name and address, if you want me to mail you something, or if you want to talk about something off air. Does that help? Man, this is some nice planing wood. Nothing nicer than a piece of wood that wants to behave. You get tired fighting with the cranky wood. I so look forward to hearing what you have to say and your questions. I look forward to that. And if anyone has one of those calipers that are used to measure ultra-fine items like paper and foils and films, where they measure them in the microns, I believe a thousandth of an inch is 25.4 micron. I'd love to see how thin I can make a shaving. I think some of the Japanese competition planes have taken them down to like between 5 and 10 micron. That's pretty darn thin. Some woods we can go thinner than other, because they hold together better. This ash is holding up pretty good. I'm guessing I'm just at 1,000th, maybe a little bit less. Not sure. Not sure. Because there's a lot of air there. You have to give it enough blade that the shaving stays together. Well, I'm rambling here. Time for me to go post this video and make some dinner. That's all for today. Head out to your shop. Go make some shavings. Walter out.